Have you noticed small changes in someone you love lately? Perhaps they've been more tired, a bit forgetful, or their appetite seems to have faded. These might seem like just signs of aging, but could they be something more? What if these seemingly minor changes were warning signs that life is nearing its final stage? In this video, we're diving deep into 5 crucial signs that often appear a year before an elderly person passes away. Recognizing these signs early gives you the chance to take proactive steps to provide better care, cherish precious moments, and most importantly, ensure that your loved one's final months are filled with comfort, dignity, and peace. By watching until the end, you'll gain an understanding of these signs, empowering you to act with clarity and kindness. We'll explore signs like significant weight loss, extreme fatigue, confusion, and changes in breathing patterns, things you may have brushed off before but are critical to know. This knowledge can make all the difference when it comes to offering your loved one the best possible support during their final journey. Stay with us as we share practical advice, emotional insights, and essential tips that can help you prepare for what lies ahead, so you won't be caught off guard and can truly make the most of the time you have left with those you love. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Number 1. Significant weight loss. One of the most profound and heartbreaking signs that someone might be approaching the final chapter of their life is unintentional weight loss. At first, it may appear subtle, a belt that suddenly feels a little tighter, clothes that no longer fit the way they used to, or an appetite that gradually starts to fade away. As families witness these changes, it's tempting to brush them off as just part of the natural aging process. But if we look closer, we must face the undeniable truth. Unintentional weight loss, especially in older adults, is rarely a benign or harmless occurrence. It often signals something much more significant happening beneath the surface. When the body begins to shed pounds without any conscious effort, it's a cry for help, one that should never be ignored. As we age, some degree of muscle loss is inevitable, but when that loss occurs at an alarming rate, it's usually an indication that something deeper is wrong. Our bodies are no longer processing nutrients the way they once did, and the vitality we once took for granted begins to slip through our fingers. It becomes harder for the body to absorb essential nutrients, and the muscles that once supported us start to weaken, leading to an overall decline in health. This can have a devastating impact on the body's strength and mobility. What once was easy, climbing stairs, walking down the street, standing up from a chair, now feels like an insurmountable challenge. And with that loss of strength comes the ever-present threat of falls, infections, and a weakened immune system. The once firm and resilient body becomes fragile, and it's heartbreaking to watch. But there's more to this process. Appetite changes are also a crucial factor in weight loss. Many elderly individuals no longer experience hunger the way they once did. The joy that once came from sharing a meal with loved ones or savoring a favorite dish fades. Their sense of taste diminishes, making food seem unappealing, even unimportant. Meals that used to be cherished moments become tedious tasks, and in the end, they may find themselves skipping meals or eating less and less. This isn't a matter of preference or laziness. It's a natural shift in the body's rhythm as it starts to slow down. The body no longer sends the usual signals to the brain to seek nourishment. This is a painful reminder that the body is preparing for a transition, signaling its readiness to move on. The result of this change? A severe decline in energy, strength, and, eventually, overall health. But weight loss isn't always just about aging or appetite changes. Sometimes it is the result of deeper, underlying medical conditions. Chronic illnesses such as cancer, heart failure, or kidney disease, conditions that often don't make their presence known until later stages, can contribute to this unexplained weight loss. These diseases gradually take their toll on the body, and by the time the symptoms become obvious, the body has already endured significant damage. Depression, memory loss, and other mental health conditions can also have a profound impact on eating habits, causing individuals to lose interest in food altogether. It's a cruel cycle, where the body slowly withers away because it is not receiving the fuel it desperately needs to survive. And yet, families often try to fix this problem with well-meaning gestures, encouraging their loved ones to eat more, offering their favorite foods, or adding protein drinks in hopes of restoring their strength. But when the weight continues to drop, despite these efforts, it's a clear signal that the issue isn't merely about what's on the plate. It's about something much bigger. The body, in its delicate dance with time, is preparing for a final transition. At this stage, forcing large meals or worrying about calorie intake isn't as important as offering comfort, ensuring hydration, and choosing easy-to-eat foods that bring peace and satisfaction in these precious moments. If you notice significant weight loss in an elderly loved one, especially if they seem to be eating less, feeling more fatigued, or struggling to stay active, it's time to pause and truly pay attention. This isn't just about appearance or numbers on a scale. It's the body sending a clear message, a message that should not be ignored. Understanding that message now can help you approach this challenging time with a sense of clarity, compassion, and the ability to make the most of the remaining moments you share. Every moment with a loved one is precious, and by acknowledging the signs, we can help ensure that those final years are filled with dignity, care, and the most meaningful of goodbyes. Number 2. Extreme fatigue and weakness. Extreme fatigue and weakness. These are often the most poignant signs that the end of life is approaching, and they carry with them a deep sense of sorrow. It's not just about feeling a bit tired after a long day or a night of restless sleep. It's an overwhelming, all-consuming exhaustion that doesn't fade with a good night's rest or a quiet afternoon. It's the kind of fatigue that makes even the simplest tasks feel like climbing an insurmountable mountain. For some, getting out of bed becomes a monumental challenge. Walking across the room requires every ounce of energy, and activities that once brought joy, like cooking, getting dressed, or even having a simple conversation, now feel like insurmountable obstacles. This isn't just an inevitable part of aging. It's a painful sign that the body is nearing its final stages. As we age, the body's systems begin to slow, and the heart no longer pumps with the same vigor. Blood circulation weakens, and the muscles, once fueled by a steady supply of oxygen, begin to feel the weight of their limitations. It's as though the body starts to prioritize what is essential, gradually withdrawing energy from all but the most vital functions. And this, dear reader, is the heartbreaking reality for many elderly individuals in their final months. They find themselves feeling weak, unsteady, and unable to carry out the routines that once defined their days. A slowdown in metabolism is another major factor in this relentless tiredness. Our bodies are designed to produce and expend energy, but as they prepare for their final stage, that energy is no longer used for movement or activity. Instead, the body redirects its energy toward preservation, toward simply keeping the heart beating and the lungs breathing. This is why someone in the later stages of life might find themselves sleeping more, needing longer naps during the day, or struggling to stay awake for any extended period. And even worse, it's not uncommon for someone to experience sharp, sudden drops in energy. One moment, they may seem fine, alert and present, and the next, they are completely drained, like a light flickering out without warning. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. But perhaps the hardest, most heart-wrenching aspect of this decline is the emotional toll it takes on both the elderly person and their family. Many older adults, who once felt proud of their independence, begin to feel a deep sense of frustration or even embarrassment at their inability to do the things they once loved. They might withdraw from conversations, stop attending social events, or give up on hobbies, not because they don't care, but because the energy simply isn't there. It's as though they retreat into themselves, not out of choice but because their body has betrayed them. This isolation, though understandable, only deepens the decline, spiraling into a loneliness that weighs even heavier than the physical exhaustion. For families witnessing this painful transformation, it can be a gut-wrenching experience. Watching a loved one go from vibrant and full of life to withdrawn, weary, and frail can bring a deep sorrow that words often fail to capture. And while it's easy to assume that they're being lazy or that they need to push through the tiredness, that assumption couldn't be further from the truth. Forcing someone to remain active when their body is begging for rest is not only futile, it's cruel. The key is understanding that this fatigue is part of the body's natural process as it nears its final days. Instead of pushing for more, what truly matters is offering support, understanding their limits, and ensuring that their remaining time is filled with peace, comfort, and love. If you notice a loved one who is experiencing deep, lasting exhaustion that doesn't fade with rest, take it as a sign that their body is undergoing a major transition. This is the time to cherish every moment, to share gentle conversations, and to create an environment of calm. Don't focus on what they can or can't do. Focus on how they feel. What matters most in the end isn't the amount of activity they can complete. It's that they feel valued, cared for, and at peace with the journey ahead. Their spirit, though tired, needs the comfort of knowing they are surrounded by love and understanding. That, ultimately, is the greatest gift we can offer as they prepare to cross over to a new chapter. Number 3. Increased confusion or withdrawal. As we approach the final stages of life, it's not uncommon to witness profound changes in a person's mental and emotional state. It's heart-wrenching to watch someone you love, who once possessed such clarity and sharpness, start to slip away mentally. Those moments when a vibrant, engaged individual becomes increasingly forgetful, struggles to keep up with conversations, or seems lost in places they once knew so well can be incredibly disorienting, not only for them but for everyone around them. It's as if they're slipping into a fog, forgetting names, losing track of time, and repeating themselves as though they're in a loop. These changes aren't just part of aging. This is something deeper, something more poignant that often begins months or even a year before death. It's not merely normal forgetfulness. It's the brain slowly losing its grip on the world it once mastered. The brain, like any other organ, relies on a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients to function at its best. But when blood flow slows, when the body's energy begins to fade, it takes a toll. The mind that once processes complex thoughts, solves problems, and maintains vivid memories becomes clouded. The person you once knew begins to seem like a stranger in their own life. Confusion creeps in, decisions become more difficult, and they struggle to recognize even the faces they've known forever. One moment they might seem clear-headed, and the next, they're lost again, drifting in a fog of confusion. It's as if their mind is fading in and out, pulling them away from the people they love, and you can't help but feel the grief of that process. On top of the mental confusion, emotional withdrawal is another difficult and painful sign that we're nearing the end. The vibrant social connections and lively interactions that once filled their life seem to fade away. They may become quiet, retreating into themselves, disengaging from those around them. It's not because they don't care. It's because their brain is no longer processing emotions or social exchanges the way it used to. Conversations become overwhelming, the constant noise of the world too much to bear, and before you know it, they've isolated themselves from the very relationships that once brought them joy. It's a sad truth, but it's part of the process. They still love you, but they can no longer express it in the same way. In addition to these changes, emotional shifts may also occur. You might see them become more easily irritated, anxious, or frustrated. For some, a strange sense of calmness or detachment may settle in. They might stop caring about things that once mattered deeply to them, and at first, it can feel like a personality change. But in reality, it's the slow and inevitable progression of their mind and body in decline. As the mind becomes clouded, the ability to express feelings wanes, leaving them less able to show emotions or respond to the world in the way they once did. The changes can be jarring, but they are part of the natural progression of the end of life. For the family members who are left behind, this stage can be agonizing. To see a loved one pull away, to feel them slipping from your grasp, can feel like a painful prelude to the inevitable. It's as though you are losing them twice, once in their body and once in their mind. But it's crucial to understand that this is not something they can control. It's not their choice to fade away. Instead of desperately trying to drag them back into conversations or interactions they can no longer handle, the most compassionate thing you can do is meet them where they are. Be patient. Speak softly, offer comfort, and reassure them with your presence. Even if they don't respond, they still sense you there, and that presence, your love, your warmth, can be a source of peace for them. If you begin to notice your loved one becoming increasingly forgetful, confused, or withdrawn, don't ignore it. These are often signs that the body and mind are preparing for the final transition. It can be painful, yes, but it is also a time to cherish. Focus on offering a peaceful, safe, and familiar environment, where quiet moments together can still be filled with warmth and affection. You might find that words are no longer as important, but the love, the comfort, and the care you offer can still be deeply felt. This is when patience becomes a precious gift, the gift of being present, without the need for words. Number 4. Frequent infections and slow healing. As we age, one of the most heartbreaking and undeniable signs that our bodies are slowly winding down is a weakened immune system. It's a cruel reality that we all must face at some point in our lives, and it is incredibly hard to witness, especially when it's someone we love. You might notice that a loved one who was once the picture of health, someone who rarely got sick or bounced back quickly from a cold, now seems to catch every virus, every flu, and even the smallest infections. It's as though their body has given up its ability to protect itself. What once would have been a minor illness, something that would barely cause a ripple in their life, now stretches into weeks of discomfort, frustration, and emotional toll. Even something as simple as a small cut or bruise, which once would heal quickly, now seems to linger, refusing to close. The slow healing is a sign, a painful, undeniable sign, that their body no longer has the resources to repair itself the way it used to. And no matter how much we wish it weren't so, we can't stop this process. The repeated infections become one of the most worrisome aspects of this decline. Pneumonia, urinary tract infections, skin infections, even oral infections, they all come with greater frequency. And each time, it feels like another weight placed on the shoulders of someone who's already grown fragile. Families often see these as isolated incidents, just one more sickness. But the truth is, these repeated battles against infection are a glaring signal that the immune system is losing its strength. Even the most powerful antibiotics, which once acted like miracles, don't seem to work as effectively anymore. The once reliable medications now require multiple rounds, or even stronger doses, just to keep the infections at bay. It is heartbreaking, watching someone you care about go through these endless rounds of treatments that no longer bring the same results. The body, tired and worn, simply doesn't respond like it once did. As blood flow slows down and organs start to lose their strength, the body no longer has the same ability to recover. Healing takes longer, and the person may feel worn out, disconnected, or even confused. They can no longer bounce back the way they did in their younger years. Chronic wounds are another devastating sign. If you notice that small scrapes or bruises aren't healing properly, or that sores keep reopening, it's a clear indication that circulation is compromised. Poor circulation means the body can't get oxygen and nutrients to the skin and tissues like it needs to. It's like the body has stopped caring for itself, leaving behind those small but significant marks of vulnerability. Bed sores, especially for immobile people, become a real concern. If not treated with the utmost care, they can lead to severe, life-threatening infections. But what's even more troubling is the way infections manifest in the elderly. We expect certain signs, fever, chills, discomfort, but the truth is, infections don't always show up the way we think they will. For older adults, the first sign of an infection may not be something as obvious as a fever. Instead, it's the little things. The person may become more fatigued, more confused, or simply less interested in eating. For families watching this happen, it's a terrifying moment. watching someone you love slip into confusion and not knowing whether it's just a phase or something far more serious. The emotional toll on families during these times is immense. We want to help, we want to fight for our loved ones and give them everything we can to get them back to the health they once had. But there comes a point, a heart-wrenching point, when you realize that the focus has to shift. No matter how much we try, no matter how many medications we push, some things cannot be reversed. And that is when comfort and care take on a much greater importance than the pursuit of one more round of antibiotics. As hard as it is, providing simple, compassionate care, ensuring hydration, keeping their skin clean and moisturized, and reducing stress on their body, becomes more meaningful than anything else. Watching someone you love go through this can break your heart, but being there for them, offering the peace and comfort they need, is the greatest gift you can give. It's a journey no one should walk alone, and we must understand when it's time to shift from trying to fix them to simply being with them, helping them feel loved and cared for in their final days. Number 5. Major changes in breathing or circulation. When a loved one is nearing the end of their life, one of the most poignant and unmistakable signs is the noticeable change in their breathing patterns and circulation. It can be heartbreaking to witness, but it's a reality that we must face with love, compassion, and understanding. You might observe that their breathing has become slower, shallower, or perhaps even irregular. At times, there may be a pause between breaths, leaving a silence that feels heavy in the room. Then, unexpectedly, their breathing may speed up only to slow down again, as if their body is struggling to keep a steady rhythm. These irregularities can seem subtle at first, but they gradually become more frequent and more noticeable, often signifying that the body is preparing to let go. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. In some cases, a breathing pattern called Cheyne-Stokes respiration may develop, where deep, quick breaths alternate with long, painful pauses. This pattern can feel like a cruel reminder of how fragile life is, and how every breath now is one step closer to the end. The emotional weight of watching someone go through this can be overwhelming, but we must remember that it's a natural part of the body's process of winding down. It can feel like time is slipping away before our very eyes, and it forces us to reflect on the preciousness of each breath we take. Another distressing change that often accompanies the decline in breathing is the weakening of circulation. You may begin to notice that their hands and feet, once warm and full of life, have become cold to the touch, like a chilling reminder that the flow of blood is no longer reaching the extremities as it once did. Even more unsettling, you may notice their skin taking on a pale, bluish, or mottled appearance, particularly around their fingers and toes. This change occurs because the body, in its final efforts, focuses on supplying blood to the vital organs, diverting it away from the limbs. It's as though the body is prioritizing what matters most, but it's a clear signal that the heart is no longer pumping with the same strength it once did. Perhaps the most difficult change to witness is the shortness of breath that becomes more pronounced, even with the slightest movements. You may see your loved one struggle to sit up, to speak, or to change position. Something as simple as turning over in bed may leave them gasping for air. Once, they could walk across the room with ease, but now, even standing can leave them winded. It's painful to see them struggle like this, but we must remind ourselves that this is not a reflection of their will or strength. It's simply the body's way of winding down. It's heartbreaking to watch someone we love so much face these challenges, but it's important to approach these moments with tenderness, offering comfort and support wherever possible. In some cases, fluid buildup in the lungs can further complicate breathing. This may result in a constant cough, gurgling sounds, or a sensation of tightness in the chest. For many of us, these symptoms can be mistaken for something as simple as a cold or congestion, but in elderly individuals nearing the end of their lives, these are often signs that the lungs are failing. They may become uncomfortable lying flat and instead seek out positions like sitting up with pillows or resting in a recliner, hoping to find some relief. It's difficult to witness such a loss of comfort, and it can feel like you're losing your loved one piece by piece. But again, this is part of the body's natural process. For family members, Seeing these changes can be deeply unsettling. It's natural to want to fix things, to help them breathe easier, to offer encouragement for deeper breaths, or to push them to stay stronger than they feel. But often, there is nothing that can be done to reverse these changes. The focus must shift from trying to prevent the inevitable to making them as comfortable as possible in their final moments. Sometimes, simple acts like keeping the room cool, using a humidifier, or offering small sips of water can bring a little comfort. In some cases, medications or oxygen therapy can help alleviate the strain, but the primary goal must be to ensure comfort, rather than fighting against nature's course. If you notice these signs, changes in breathing, cold hands and feet, or a bluish tint to the skin, pay attention. These are clear signs that the body is conserving its energy, and circulation is slowing down. It's a time for presence, a time to offer reassurance, and a time to create a peaceful environment where your loved one feels safe, supported, and cared for. As difficult as it may be, this is a precious opportunity to show them that they are not alone. Final thoughts. As we come to the end of this video, it's important to reflect on the profound changes that can signal the end of life. Significant weight loss, extreme tiredness, memory problems, frequent infections, and major changes in breathing and circulation. These signs often appear in the final year before death, and while they may not all be obvious at once, they offer us a glimpse into what is happening to our loved ones. It can be overwhelming and painful to witness, but recognizing these signs early can help us navigate this difficult time with more grace and understanding. For many families, it's incredibly hard to accept these changes. It's natural to want to fight them, to push for more food, more movement, more life. But sometimes the most loving thing we can do is honor their body's signals, to stop fighting against the inevitable, and to focus on making their remaining time as peaceful, comfortable, and meaningful as possible. Instead of trying to prolong life in a way that may cause more distress, we can shift our focus to making sure every moment spent together is filled with love, comfort, and understanding. Recognizing these signs isn't about being afraid of death, it's about being prepared. It's about accepting the process with dignity and grace, so we can offer the best care possible. When you start noticing these changes, you can take steps to provide care that prioritizes your loved one's comfort, peace of mind, and sense of dignity. You can make informed decisions ahead of time, and by doing so, you're ensuring that their final months are filled with love, warmth, and the knowledge that they are cherished. This is the time to make memories, to cherish every shared moment, and to remind your loved one that they are loved, that they are not alone, and that their journey is filled with meaning and importance. In the end, what matters most is that we can walk beside them in these final stages with open hearts, offering the love and care they deserve in the twilight of their lives. As we close out today's video, I want to take a moment to reflect on everything we've shared so far. We've touched on some deeply emotional and difficult signs that our loved ones may be nearing the end of their journey. From changes in breathing and circulation to the impact these changes can have on both them and us as caregivers. It's not easy to face these truths, but it's important to be informed, compassionate, and present during these moments. So, what have you learned today? I'd love to hear from you. What is one thing you've learned in this video that you will bring into practice in your own life, whether in how you care for others or how you navigate the challenges of aging yourself? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to leave your comment, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support helps us bring more content like this to those who need it most. Thank you for watching, and remember, life may be fleeting, but the love and care we give to each other are what truly last.